Thanks, man. Over to you.
Well, first and foremost, it's been always a bucket list item of mine to ask you a question. So I've always tried a small cast show and never got the opportunity. So here in Hall H is amazing. So
welcome, man.
Thank you, thank you.
Hall H is great, isn't it?
I've
been coming here for fucking years, not just speaking here, because I don't think I spoke here. I was talking to Jen earlier today. When we were here with Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, we weren't in Hall H yet. I think we're in like 5A, B, C, and D, or whatever it's called. And I think it was the next year, they were like, hey, why don't you go into Hall H? Because we'd packed that room, and they're like, you should just go in. And that was when like Hall H was half this size, and you could sit in it all day long. If you got a piece of real estate, you didn't have to fucking leave the room and shit. So like, they put me on when, like the year that Peter Jackson was here for King Kong, that was what closed Hall H that night. That was the big fucking show. That's how they used to do it. I was in the middle. Like I was just something for an hour to kind of hold things together. And I was delighted to be here because I never really played to a crowd that big. And they were sitting there. It wasn't like I had to fill the place. They just sat in their seats because they were sticking around for fucking Peter Jackson in the evening and stuff. So I was playing to a bunch of people that didn't care for my shit, didn't know who I was and shit like that. And family as well, which I hadn't really thought about and shit. And so after that panel, they approached me, the folks at Comic-Con. They were very sweet, and they're like, we can't have you do a panel during the day anymore. We're gonna move you to the end of the night. And I was like, why, man? They're like, because you curse a lot. And like, they got kids here, man. And like, one person asked a question about Batman, and you used the phrase cock smoker in an answer. And I was like, well, they asked about Robin, you know, so I was like, they were like, it'd be better if you were at the end of the night. And I was like, oh shit. And so like, you know, I was always worried because they put you at the end of the night, that means everyone could leave. I was spoiled by people being there. They had to sit through me anyway. And it always gave you a chance to convert a few more people and shit like that who maybe weren't into your stuff. But being pushed to the end of the night meant that, oh fuck, like people could leave if they want and stuff. And one year they did. JJ took them all and shit. So, you know, is it possible? And still to this day, like, I walk out and I'm like, oh man, I wonder if anybody's gonna be here. When I see people here, I'm fucking delighted. You can ask Melissa. I was backstage and I went real hard on Melissa, and real quick when I sat next to her, I was like, we're friends enough where I can tell you this. I'm about to cry, and here's why. And I was like, I don't.
Your eyes were this big. You turned and looked me straight in the face. Like...
I was like, help me, Supergirl. Fly me away. And she was like, I don't do that. Yeah, man, it's nerve-wracking coming out here. Like, because for some reason inside, I've always hitched this room up to my relevancy in pop culture. So I'm like, if I walk out there and fucking people are there, all right, I'm good for another year of this shit. If I walk out and nobody's there, who knows? And like, you know, the year of fucking Force Awakens, when the audience left, I was like, oh my God, I'm ruined. Like, psychologically, that kind of broke me for a minute and shit. And then I remembered, like, it's fucking Star Wars. We all been before Star Wars and shit, and Sith happens, and I just fucking moved on. But nothing will be as bad as that, walking out and seeing, like, this is a 6,000-seater, and we had, like, there was 2,000 people at the end of the day, but 2,000 people in a 6,000-seater looks like a fucking hot dog in a hallway, man. It's terrifying. And then there were people that, you like that one? Still good to make him laugh, man. If you can make the wife laugh still, it's really good. And so there were people too that just hate my ass. A lot of like people online, shoot websites, whatnot, who took pictures from the back door of the entire empty place on me on stage and only a few rows full. And that fucking hurt. There was a lot of ha-ha and shit like that. That was the worst it'll ever be. So even so, coming out here tonight, I was just like, I don't know why I fucking do this. I set myself for this every year. I don't have to do this. I don't have to fucking agree to Hall H. I can take a smaller room, but no, I go Hall H. And Melissa's like, why did I agree to come? And but then I walked down and there were a bunch of cats here, and I was like, oh, you know what? He made me feel good because he walked down and he goes, whoa, it's packed. And I know he has no depth perception, but still, fucking.
I said you came out and there's like one row.
Oh, I would have been so mad. I would have been like, what is your idea of empty? Like, did you just say that to placate me? You're like, it's packed.
No, I really was shocked. And again, I got to come out and talk, and I was like, oh my goodness.
I put you out here because I was like, I'm scared. If there's nobody out there, you go out there. And if I heard only like 10 people clap, I was just gonna run and let him do the show and shit.
I'm like, Kevin Smith! Oh shit! Goodbye, for an hour.
This guy has not asked his question yet. I also just I'm so sorry. That was just the preface to the question being asked.
Because we were talking about fucking Hall H. My bad, I got on a Hall H 10.
I don't even know what just happened.
Oh shit, but were you here in Hall H the time that the Avengers were here for the first time? First time they ever had the Avengers assembled here, years ago.
I really want to hear this. Keep going.
It's a true story. First time all the Avengers assembled, before the movie comes out, they had the only incident on Hall H that I've ever heard of, like a fight kind of incident. There was a jockeying for seats, and somebody had pulled out, if I understand correctly, a compass. You put a compass down and then to make a circle around, like it's got the pointy thing, and they stabbed somebody else in the leg and shit. Here in Hall H, if I remember correctly and shit. And I remember thinking the Avengers were there, not one of them did a fucking thing about it. Anyway, there's a lot of shit been happening in this room. It's always nice to be back. But she's right, my daughter. You have not asked your question. Please ask.
Yes, so my question is,
That's the end of the show, guys. Get going.
so with all Marvel movies, we get great end credit scenes. In Strike Back, we got an epic end credit scene with Morris Day and the motherfucking time. Is there an end credit scene in Reboot?
There is. There's number one. Go ahead. He's got to go to the bathroom. He's so happy with this joke. He's like, I get to pee. I've earned a urination. The way I did the movie is the movie proper is about an hour. The whole movie experience is an hour and 45 minutes, but I think the hour and 35, 37 maybe make up the movie proper itself from the beginning to the end of the story. But then during the single cards and first we do the whole cast and single cards. Is he trying to find a bathroom? That's the closest fucking bathroom? He just Forrest Gumped it all the way to the bathroom. And I hitched my wagon to that guy's star. The movie ends, the story ends. Then we got the single cards of everybody who's in it and stuff. Then we go to, there's a little Stan Lee memorial in it as well. And then we go to the rolling credits. And during the rolling credits, we play a bunch of cutscenes. So a bunch of stuff that is totally fun material, but just didn't fit into the confines of the story proper. Rather than just roll credits and shit, I just fucking roll credits next to more content. So you get to see a bunch of shit that we cut out. And then when that all ends, there is of course, a postscript scene, which is one of my favorite fucking things in the movie. It's at the very end of the movie. But it's a big Easter egg and a big love letter if you've been watching these movies for 25 fucking years and stuff. So yeah, we keep it going.